Oh, well, apparently I am live and alive right now. So welcome once again to another reading. It's right now it's Tuesday at, let me see, what time is it? It's 3:30 p.m. Yep, I'm real early. I have a business meeting to go to. I got to leave and I got to be there by 4:45 and I have to drive there. So it's either now or a lot later. I prefer now because when I come back, I have more work to do. But I do prefer now. Today's reading is it's interesting, and I think you'll like it. I like it. It's simple, it's easy to digest, and I think it's pretty good. So before I continue, I'm going to read the reading, and then I will come back and we'll discuss it a little bit. It's called Living Beyond Precedent. Living Beyond Precedent. When the world tells you to shrink, expand. And that was Elaine Welteroth. And I've got to look her up, actually. Maybe I'll get a chance to look her up before this ends. And Ernest Holmes in Creative Living says, every one of us has in back of us the potential of the universe. In other words, we have the support of the whole universe behind us. And this is a famous saying of Holmes, and people often don't know what it means. Reverend Ryan explains it pretty simply. Principle is not bound by precedent. Principle is not bound by precedent. This is a fancy way of saying, quote, just because it's been a certain way doesn't mean it always has to be a certain way, unquote. How often do we get stuck in limiting beliefs and default thinking? This way of thinking often keeps us tethered to the ground and whispers that we should just sit still because there's no way that things can be different. And who are we to think otherwise? It sort of feels like running in a three-legged race, that awkward feeling of wanting to move but having to account for extra baggage in the process. Reverend Ryan says, lately for me, this way of seeing things has become strangely dissatisfying. I have felt the urge, and I am sure I'm not the only one, to break away from old frameworks and step into more expansive and adventurous ways of operating. Each day becomes a new opportunity to put those old ideas and beliefs under a microscope and to see them for exactly what they are. They may have been beneficial in the past, but now maybe they no longer serve us. A new way, a new view is being called forth that speaks to our deepest desires and passions in this very moment. This new view calls us to step out in ways that we never thought possible, ways that represent the truth of who we are, ways that ignite the fire of creativity and speak to a life lived beyond precedent. Precedent is a very common thing amongst human beings, and sometimes it's good. If you're setting out on an adventure and you know that somebody's already done it before you, then it can give you that wherewithal to continue and go ahead. But oftentimes in life, as Reverend Ryan's pointing out, it holds us back. And we're going to go back to an example we talked about, or I think it was in the readings, or we spoke about it. I remember it's not too long ago, about a British doctor called Roger Bannister, who was also a runner. And one of his goals was to run a mile in under 4 minutes. The thing is, everybody told him it was impossible. In fact, there were lots of wild theories out there. Some people said if you ran faster than that, your heart would explode, and all sorts of wild and not wonderful things, really. But he didn't believe them. And he was the first one, as far as we know, maybe it's done back in ancient Greek times in the old Greek Olympics, I don't know. But of course, they didn't have a mile exact with them. to run this mile in under 4 minutes. He didn't believe it. He decided he was going to go out and do it. And he did it because he didn't believe in the precedent that has been set before, that that was the ultimate limit in human capability. And of course, once he got beyond it, as we said before, within a very short space of time, lots of other people did it, because the group human subconscious, not just Roger Bannister's consciousness, but the group human subconscious mind had itself been altered, and other people just kicked that precedent out of the way and went on and ran a mile in under 4 minutes. Now they're running it in well under 4 minutes. So what's this got to do with us today? Well, me personally, there's things that I had never tried because I didn't think I was able to do it. One example is I didn't think I was good at talking to people one-on-one. I was pretty good about getting up and speaking in front of a whole audience of 200, 300, 500, 1,000 people. It really didn't bother me all that much. After the first 20 seconds, I was free and clear and I was going. It really didn't bother me. But I did find it hard to speak one-on-one, and this had been a precedent with me for most of my life, but thanks to two things. One, my wife, who's that social butterfly and talks to anybody, anywhere, anytime about anything. And Toastmasters International, which helped me to get over this. I was able to get beyond that precedent and start speaking to one-on-one, because as a practitioner, first off, and then as a minister and as a mediator, I've got to be good at this. And something that I wasn't good at, because my whole life had been based on not doing it, was kicked out of the way and the precedent vanished, and I was able to do it. So what is it in your life that you would like to do, but you've been holding back from because you've never done it before, and you wonder, could you do it? I mean, there's lots of things out there. And so the thing is this: if we take Ernest Holmes at face value, I've got to look this lady up. What's her name? Elaine Welterworth. I'm going to just look her up quickly. Hang on a second. Elaine Welterworth. Hang on one sec. Here we are. She is an American journalist, editor, author, and television host. In April 2016, she was named editor-in-chief of Teen Vogue, making her the second person of African-American heritage in Condé Nast's 107-year history to hold such a title. She's an awful lot younger than me. She's 37 years of age. She was born in 1986, which is way after when I was born, about 1,000 years after I was born. Well, not that long, obviously. And Holmes, of course, in Creative Living is telling us that we have at our disposal a power that put the universe together. And who knows who put the multiverse together, the omniverse. Who knows how big creation is. But you have this power that's actually running through us that we can call upon to actually help us in any situation. You know, my wife loves to call on her angels. Is it her angels, or is it her and the group and the universal subconscious mind? Well, it really doesn't matter whether it's literally angels or not. She calls on them, they help her, it works. She doesn't let things from the past step in her way. So I come back to my question to you, which is simply this, you know, how are you going to apply this lesson today to your life? Write down, if there's stuff that you have wanted to do and have never done it, write down the pros and the cons. Why haven't you done it? Is it just because you're scared of doing it? Is it because you don't think you've got the talent to do it? Do you need somebody's help to do it? Just write down all the reasons why and why not to do this, and then see what comes out of it. And then go into treatment and see what comes out of it. The other thing you can do, of course, is to use visioning. Our visioning classes got postponed. But if you want to know more about visioning, then send me a text and I'll help you with it. We can even do one-on-one if you like. My number is, I think it's in there. It's 832-271-0717. 832-271-0717. Text me. Don't call me. Text me if you need my help on this or anything. I did find something in the Science of Mind textbook which is kind of relevant. And it says this is from Ernest, it's on page 538 of the single edition of the Science of Mind textbook. And it's called, I will listen for thy voice, inner presence. It will guide me and acquaint me with all knowledge. Thy voice is sweet and tender. It is always kind and gentle, a lover of my soul. How I adore thee. How I love thee. How I love thy voice. It thrills me with gladness and joy. It fills me with peace and calm, and it soothes me. It quiets me and gives me wonderful rest. I listen, O divine speaker. I listen to thee alone. And of course, Holmes there is affirming that we're listening in the silence, and it's not necessarily a literal voice that comes to us. It kind of moves our heart. But sometimes it does come literally. You know, my mother once was walking down the street and somebody was coming towards her on the same side. And she literally heard a voice in her head that said, Mary, watch your purse. And she went across the street and walked on the other side. She literally heard a voice in her head that warned her. And we all get these things. We just need to watch out for them. So I hope you enjoy this lesson. I hope you enjoy Reverend Lisa in the mornings. If you're not, tune in 9 o'clock-ish Central Time when she will be reading once again, and she will be explaining, I guess, from the Science of Mind textbook, the basic book. I think she's using the single edition. I'm not sure. So most of the quotes you see from the Science of Mind textbook are from this one single edition. It doesn't look like a single edition, but it is. The other one is even thicker, and it's on thinner paper, but it's got more pages. So just know with me that the light of the one surrounds us, and the love of the one enfolds us, and the power of the one protects us, and the presence of the one watches over us, because everywhere we are, God is, and all is well. Until tomorrow, until next time, whatever it turns out to be for you and me, namaste.